Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Thursday, June 6th, 2024. I'm Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins, the senior minister here at Sunshine Cathedral.
I am Reverend Dr. Robert Griffin, the executive minister. Faith and religion can be complicated for the LGBTQ plus community. Surveys show that evangelical faith is the justification for the greatest attacks on the LGBTQ plus community.
I am Reverend Kevin Tisdall, the Minister of Education. The Queer God Squad is going to explore our religious community. Let's explore the big news of the day and what it means to you.
I am Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, the Minister of Connections. This is live, and then we are available on demand. We are available on all smart televisions and your favorite social media.
Surveys show that religious faith and church are the main causes of trauma in the LGBTQ plus community. At Sunshine Cathedral, we're here to tell you that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Faith and identity, how Ayo Edebiri and other Americans are saying no to church and religion. Ayo Edebiri, star of The Bear and Bottoms, opened up about her life in a recent Vanity Fair cover story. Edebiri discussed her transition from Pentecostal upbringing in Boston to a broader worldview shaped by her college years in New York City. Raised deeply involved in church life, Edebiri admitted to a childhood fear of death and rapture. However, college challenged her to reconcile her faith's teaching with her friendships, particularly with gay and Muslim peers. She said, "It was genuinely breaking my brain and giving me so much stress and sadness that it led to her to take a break from church," aside from occasional visits with her parents. However, Edebiri is not the only person who distanced themselves from church. A recent survey conducted by the Public Religion Research Institute, PRRI, sheds light on the phenomenon of religious churning in the United States. The study reveals that a significant portion of Americans, approximately 1/4, 26%, now identify as religiously unaffiliated. The survey also delves into the reasons behind people's decisions to leave their church. 2/3, 67%, cited a loss of belief in the teachings of their former religion, while nearly half, 47% to be exact, mentioned negative attitudes toward LGBTQ plus individuals as a contributing factor in their departure. I like it when people grow up. I like it when they start seeing the world from a different point of view. That she came to my wonderful city, New York City, and discovered that there was a diverse pool of people, and it made her begin to question whether or not what she was thinking is right. And I had to look up that phrase, religious churning, and it basically means that we're able to go from one religious thought to another, that we're homogeneous, that we don't have to stay in one place. So growing up Pentecostal, she was thinking one way, and I'm sure that that teaching kind of told her that she was supposed to stay away from people that behaved like I did. I'm glad that she has, I touched my mic. I'm glad that she has moved away from that and now understands that we are a wonderful, diverse world, and I think that she's better for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, your husband's name is Michael.
Yes.
So, touch my mic. Is that a euphemism? What just happened here? We need to...
Wow.
I admit that there is a microphone that's...
Okay.
And
things are just about to get weird here.
Yeah. Wow. Where did that come from?
I'm on a lot of medication. So, anyway...
Wow, was that a revelation?
Yeah.
Cold medicine.
And our next story.
No, I think we're seeing this more and more, and mostly with young people right now, but the older I get, the younger everyone else seems to be. So anyway, but we just can't act like it's the Middle Ages anymore. The more we cling to things that we just can't justify, the more obsolete we seem, the more irrelevant religion seems. Now, I think religion is a social institution. It's one of the 5 basic social institutions. I think it serves a purpose, like the economy serves a purpose, and the government and family and education. These serve purposes, but they have to change. Education isn't the way it used to be. Economies don't function the same way for all time. And so, yeah, religion serves a function, but it can't be the way it always was if it wants to stay relevant, if it wants to stay useful, if it wants to be useful. So, for instance, all of this animosity from Christians towards Muslims, they are so similar. First of all, they are each convinced they are right, and that they're the only way to be. But in Islam, you call God Allah. Eastern Christians call God Allah. It's Arabic for God. The Aramaic is Allah, and I believe that is the Hebrew equivalent of Elohim.
Okay.
And so why? Oh, Allah is a false god. No, Allah is God. That's just God, a name for God. Both religions revere Jesus. Christians, he's the top guy. In Islam, he's the number 2 guy, but still made the top 2.
Yeah.
Both revere Mary, except in the Quran, there's a whole chapter dedicated to Mary. There's more said about Mary in the Quran than there is in the entire Bible. And so all this animosity, and they're similar enough in good and bad ways. Both have been historically homophobic, both have been historically not super empowering of women. And so but we dig our heels in. They're bad. We're right and they're bad. That makes us look foolish.
Yeah.
That we've got this book. People say it to us all the time. We'll say a statement, and their response to us says, you need to read the Bible, or you need to read this book of the Bible, or you need to read this verse, as if in 1,000 years of seminary between us, we never got around to the Bible. So I always just laugh at that anyway. But second of all, okay, now I've read this, now what? So some dead person that I know very little about, whose original writing no longer exists, this has been many times edited and translated, says this. Now, can I go back to what I was thinking and what made sense to me? Because this is, you haven't said anything, but that it's in this magic book, and that just settles everything. And so, yeah, that you have to be mean to gay people and all of that. And the whole point of this is to get to another world that we can't prove exists. We have to order our life in this world so that we don't get hosed in the next. If you had never heard that and you weren't raised that, and someone sold that to you fresh right now, you would laugh at them and think that was ridiculous. And so we've just got to stop being ridiculous. I mean, you actually said it best, just right off the bat with, I'm glad when people grow up.
Yeah.
And so it's time that the church and all religions grow up. I love Buddhism has evolved to the point where they don't even need a deity, but they're still a vibrant global religion. And so change and growth. The Dalai Lama has said, if you could prove to me reincarnation isn't real, I'd have to stop believing in it. But he wouldn't stop being Buddhist. He would just change his, his frame of reference.
That's a grown-up.
That's a grown-up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, religion. I am not mad at religion for existing. I'm mad at them for infantilizing their adherents.
There you go.
I grew up with that whole rapture teaching. I remember at one point it was taught that, people will still be walking around when Jesus comes back for the rapture. Okay, that's just a weird picture in the Bible, and it's like death. And you got
and it's not a biblical one.
The whole rapture and everything, and it's like, okay, I don't know what that means. I was always afraid of something. I didn't know what it meant until I later let's just let that stuff go.
And they act like they're excited about it.
Yeah, the rapture's coming. We're going to go to heaven. Jesus is going to come back on a white horse and reign over earth. And okay, yes, I grew up. But I'm also proud of her for recognizing the need to take a break from it too.
Yeah.
And sometimes instead of just plunging in there and getting more depressed, more upset, more confused, just take a break from it.
Right.
And then you can hit that reset, that repause, and you can download those old tapes and really kind of refresh yourself with what you need for your journey. So kudos to her for taking the break, and whatever she goes back into, great. But sometimes we just have to know enough is enough. And what we grew up with is just that. We grew up with it, and it does not have to stick around. So when we know better, we do better.
Right. If churches and religion can't affirm and bless people for all of who they are, for those that they love, they're going to go in decline. And that's what we're seeing now. Church denominations are in significant decline. And it doesn't matter if your denomination says, oh, well, we're not in decline. Yeah, guess what?
Yeah.
You are in decline. It's going to happen. You have to be able to affirm and welcome people for all of who they are.
Yep.
And if you can't do that, it's just not going to work.
Yeah. And the first step to that is accepting that you're in denial.
It ain't just a river, is it?
Right. She said she was afraid of dying.
Yeah.
And the rapture and stuff.
Yeah, and why are kids even thinking about dying? That's
Why
that's
is
so odd. But I remember my first prayer, now lay me down.
Oh, yeah.
I
Pray
pray
the
the
Lord,
Lord,
my
soul to keep.
If I should die, I thought that was a word.
If I should die before I wake.
I should die.
If I should die.
If I should die, I didn't know what I meant. Once I realized what I was saying, I'm like, oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I honestly thought, like, the point of saying that prayer was so that if you died in your sleep, you'd be okay.
Right.
And so, like, there had been a time or two that I forgot to say my prayer, that I woke up in the middle of the night in a sweat.
Oh,
and a
Oh,
panic.
boy. Yeah.
And I better say this prayer. Because I thought it was the thing. That, first of all, why am I afraid at 6 years old that I might die in my sleep? And second of all, why do I think that if I don't say these magic words, there's a horrible consequence? It makes God seem petty. It makes religious seem foolish. And we've got to get over it. We've got to save religion. Religion has not saved anybody. Religion has caused a lot of pain. We've got to save religion if it's to be community building, if it's to be encouraging, if it's to be optimistic, if it's to help people heal from life's difficulties and hard moments. We've got to save it because it's in trouble.
Yep.
And make it useful.
That sounds like a good time to do a commercial for Sunshine Cathedral.
Cathedral.
We are a different kind of church. And what that means is that you can come into our church with whatever your thoughts and beliefs are and know that we're going to support you in your journey, because it is a journey for each and every one of us. It's different for each of us, and you're not going to hear the same old crap that you've heard for most of your life. I promise you that if you come to our church and listen to any one of us preach, especially that guy over there, you will learn a whole lot of stuff that you never thought about before. So understand that religion has its place, and we believe that we share our story better than a lot of other places. So give Sunshine Cathedral a look. Sunday morning, 10:30 on every possible social media, or come and visit us here at Sunshine Cathedral Square, because we are a different kind of church.
It's a true story. And that's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ plus community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's largest progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together, and we are all in this together. Remember that.
You are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.